Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today as we feature Robin DiAngelo's White Fragility. This book challenges white people to acknowledge their white privilege and how it aids in the continuation of racism in our world today. We would like to take a moment to thank our friend and the founder of Justice for Black Lives, Sherry Darlene, for suggesting this book. Let's get started, everybody. White Fragility: Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism, by Robin DiAngelo. Today we are going to read to learn and learn to change by discussing quotes from White Fragility. Feel free to pause at any time in order to reflect on your own or to discuss in a group. Chapter 1: The Challenges of Talking to White People About Racism. Yet our simplistic definition of racism as intentional acts of racial discrimination committed by immoral individuals engenders a confidence that we are not part of the problem and that our learning is thus complete. Page 9. Explain how white people failing to acknowledge they are part of the problem prohibits the dismantling of racism and instead holds it in its place. Chapter 3: Racism After the Civil Rights Movement. What is termed colorblind racism is an ideology where if we pretend not to notice race, then there can be no racism. Pages 40 to 41. How do you see or have you seen colorblind ideology in your own life? How do you see or have you seen adverse racism in your own life? Chapter 4: How does race shape the lives of white people? But my silence is not benign because it protects and maintains the racial hierarchy and my place within it. Page 58. In what ways have you been silent in the past, and what impact has that had on racism and the racial status quo? Chapter 5: The good-bad binary. If, as a white person, I conceptualize racism as a binary and I place myself on the not racist side, what further action is required of me? No action is required because I am not a racist. Therefore, racism is not my problem. It doesn't concern me and there is nothing further I need to do. Page 73. In what ways is labeling yourself one of the good ones harmful? Chapter 8: The Result: White Fragility. A sense of white superiority and knowledge of racial power codes appear to develop as early as preschool. Page 108. Reflect back to your preschool days. In what ways was white superiority present, taught, and learned? Chapter 10: White Fragility and the Rules of Engagement. Stopping our racist patterns must be more important than working to convince others that we don't have them. We do have them, and people of color already know we have them. Our efforts to prove otherwise are not convincing. Page 129. How can trying to convince others we are not racist be counterproductive to helping to dismantle racism? Chapter 11: White Women's Tears. We need to reflect on when we cry and when we don't, and why. Page 135. In what way can white tears be harmful in the fight against racism? Chapter 12: Where do we go from here? Care enough to get informed. Consider racism a matter of life and death, as it is for people of color, and do your homework. Page 145. List ways in which you plan to further educate yourself and which actions you are committed to taking in order to help dismantle racism. Thanks again to our friend Sherry Darlene, the founder of Justice for Black Lives, for this book recommendation. Thanks, Sherry. You can also show Sherry support and Justice for Black Lives your support by visiting the website justiceforblacklives.com, visiting the Facebook page, Justice for Black Lives. Check out Instagram, Justice for Black Lives Niagara, and follow on Twitter, J4BL_S. To access more educational resources for the book White Fragility, go to our website at chaptersforchange.com. There, under Books of the Month, you can visit the July 2021 Adult Readers Book, which is White Fragility. And when you scroll down, you'll see a link to our educational resources that you can click and download. If you don't want to miss any of our upcoming videos, make sure that you hit the subscribe button below as well as the notifications. And you can also visit our website, chaptersforchange.com, for educational resources and to see what we're up to. See you soon.